eBGP has that very interesting behavior where we expect to be directly connected. And it leads us to this command, eBGP multihop. But let's review for a moment what our expectation is by default for eBGP neighborships. eBGP neighborships expect to be directly connected. And that means you're able to just peer between R4 and R5 on the common subnet. You're not doing anything fancy like update source loopback. This is the norm. Make no mistake about it, this is the norm. But there is something more to it than that. And by the way, this controls the time to live. It is enforced, in fact, it is enforced with the time to live of 1. So these eBGP packets are not routable. We shoot them across, and either they get there or they die. What if we need to adjust the time to live? It absolutely can be done. So if I were here on R5 and I wanted to add an extra hop between R4 and R5, or allow it to be possible, I could go in here, 64, 501, neighbor, 72.16.33.4, and I could do eBGP multihop. Let's read it. Allows eBGP neighbors not on directly connected networks. Why would we do this? Well, one reason is to be load sharing or allow for load sharing on a dual homed link between two devices. This is dual homed, meaning this one router is peered to this other router via two common links. Now, the way that BGP is going to work by default is it's only going to install one way, only one route to get there. But if you want to, you could do the following. This is a pretty complex config. First, you build in static routes to the opposing ends loopback interface. And you say, here's two different ways of getting to that IP address. Both are equally good. Both are equally good. Now, you go in, peer to that loopback. So we're peering to that loopback. Now, right now, we just added a hop. We just added a hop because now we have to cross R2. We go R1, boom. And then R2 looks at its routing table. It says, what destination address are you going to? 192.168.2.2. It doesn't think, hey, this is me. It says, I'm going to route that. And then it says, where do I route that? Oh, it's on a local interface. Send it over to the local interface. So we just decremented our time to live. And if we had the default time to live of 1, it would have died. So now we need a time to live of 2 in order to get the traffic there. Now, because our neighbor has two different ways of getting to this address, we will load share going to its neighbor. We will find two different ways of getting there, and we'll install both. Now, I'm also going to want to source from my loopback interface for R2 to have the reverse config. So now, it's really going to be pulled not from the exit interface. It's going to be BGP updates are going to be coming from there. So I need an extra hop because it's going to be routed from loopback 0 into one of these two pathways. Now the time to live is 2, hits R2, time to live is 1 as it gets routed, and we get there. So this says change the time to live to something other than 1. You could go to 255. We don't really worry about getting it dead on. You could do 8, 10, 15, just so long as you're large enough of value to not die. So this is a highly available config. It's awesome. Also, if you happen to have something where there are extra routers not running BGP, you could do this. The challenge is that these routers would lack knowledge of which way to go and would likely, without a lot of extra config, wind up dropping traffic that is for the BGP destinations that are being shared through these transiting routers not running BGP. But eBGP Multihop is kind of a cool feature to talk about. It is seldom used. You don't just slap it into all of your BGP routers.